for a listing if we wanted to consider that as well.
Dave just mentioned tonight that he heard that West Hempfield is entertaining a petition or application for a restaurant near the J Group somewhere.
Yeah, for Indian Springs Drive.
It would be a new build.
I think so, yeah. It's gonna be a brew pub and restaurant, microbrewery. That's what they're saying, so. The meeting's next month.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to go to that meeting.
Under action items, I see that there are none. Old business, goals and objectives for the golf course. I think, again, we probably should pick that up, after the first of the year, unless somebody, would like to kick that around today. But I know that Tom is, particularly interested in that, and it might be good if he's here. He has a number of ideas and has some direction from the supervisors as to what they're thinking as well. Jim, golf operations update.
We're here.
Really no update. We had another good month. So hats off to Joe and his team. The course is in great shape. We've rolled out our winter rates and then the membership pricing for next year, and that's going well.
Those are impressive numbers. I somebody just shared this with me. It's awesome.
Yeah, I did include a chart there for playable days since we've been at the property. I went through all my old reports month by month and then totaled up the yearly playable days. And then with the comparison with the green fee and cart revenue for each year.
Do you see it slowing down? Or I guess it depends on weather, but you keep saying another good month. Has it slowed compared to the previous month? I would think. It's getting chillier.
Older month, comparable to prior years, we've done quite a bit more.
Okay, great.
The only thing that is a concern is the batteries on the current carts. Right now we have 15 carts that are down because they either need one battery or 2 or 3 batteries. But as long as we're bringing in the car revenue, I think it's wise to move forward with getting batteries for those. Because there's no guarantee. I can't see us getting the new carts. I mean, I hope we get them April 1st, but I think that's
I would hope that the authority would leave that to your discretion, because I know those batteries are, I think they're running, 6 of them are running about $1,000, $160 a piece, and there's 6 times, yeah, just shy of 1,000.
15 carts, we'd look at about 2,400 if they just each need one. Unfortunately, once one battery goes down, the computer on the cart starts acting up and the cart just jerks. So we've had to go out numerous times just to switch out carts on the course. And it's just getting to be a pain, especially if we get a nice warm day. We're not going to have enough carts for everyone.
Is there an interim estimate of what it would cost, or how many of these batteries would need to be replaced currently?
Well, right now we need to replace a minimum of 15 batteries. And then there's no way to tell. You can't, if we get readings on them, it should unless you have a bad battery. So you can't tell when they're going to drop. The mechanic did say with the colder temps, we're going to see more of them start losing the power. The good thing, majority of them have been switched out with the warranty. So worst case I wouldn't think we'd need to replace more than 20 batteries.
And how much are they each?
They're 160.
Yeah, 160.
$160.
160.
160, 160, and there's 6 of them.
And if I don't recall, we have to be able to drive these things onto the trailer as well, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm just worried that we get to the spring and we don't have the new carts. And
Right.
if we don't take care of these carts now, I mean, at least the revenue, the expense is covered versus trying to do it in the,
Are the batteries interchangeable between the old ones and the new ones?
No, it's a different type of battery.
So you can't reuse the ones. So if we buy them for the interim, they can't be continually used.
No, they go with the carts. The new ones will be lithium ion, I believe they're called.
I mean, I think if you're saying you need 20 batteries, it's only $3,200 between now and April. You know, maybe we have to get 1 or 2 more, but I mean, my opinion would be do what you need to do to keep them running and driving revenue, at least during the time that people are using them.
Yeah, I think they developed a rotation schedule so that they know the ones that are 9 holes and they know the ones that are 18, and they kind of are watching it. So they're doing the best they can, but it's probably going to be an added cost that we didn't quite anticipate.
So would this be an expense that would have to be approved through the Board of Supervisors?
No, it's just an ongoing
Just
maintenance.
So it would be a maintenance cost, or maintenance expense.
It's potential that line item might be over budget at year end next year or this year, maybe even. Joe, I don't know if you know where we stand with the maintenance budget.
Which Joe you talking to?
The one that has the answer.
I don't know. I don't know if Joe Muhal knows how he's doing, but like any line item budget, there's some that are over, some that are under. But we got to do what we got to do regardless.
Yeah, it all kind of works out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure where we are with the total number. I know I just paid a couple more, I think about 2 weeks ago. I think Joe got about 8 or 12 batteries I think he bought.
Is there a resale market? Is there a resale market for the batteries when we're done with them, when we get the new carts?
They just go with the carts. We have to get the cart on the trailer for us to get credit for it. So we're turning in, we'll turn in old batteries, used batteries, most of them, and get brand new ones. But I mean, I don't think it's a big expense at this point to.
I don't have any reservation encouraging that expenditure. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. And it may be that we have some additional monies to spend between now and the time we actually receive the new carts. So I think I think we're aware of it. And I just don't think we should be patchworking our way, trying to swapping out batteries, we're sort of playing Russian roulette at this point without the new batteries.
I agree. And you'll make the revenue back if you get a couple nice weekend days, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one of those days are nice. You're going to have a full fleet of carts out there.
Sounds like just continue to do what you're doing.
okay, sounds good. I'll go with Joe V.
So the golf course draft budget review recommendations, this was old business. The maintenance equipment purchase, that's something we're going to review this evening.
Right.
We got the revised numbers broken out.
So Joe Muhal,
Mhm.
the revised numbers, this equipment, when is it going to arrive? Do we have a delivery date for all of it, or it's kind of hit and miss?
No, the problem that occurred about 2 weeks ago, they had a meeting with Toro, and a lot of the equipment would not be available for 22. Some of the equipment wouldn't be available for 23. And one of the pieces that impacted this item was the fairway mower, the Real Master 5410. We had the 5110H. Actually, the mower the only one I can get now is the 5410, which is still a very good mower. It's just it's not a hybrid, which that was no big deal to myself anyways. Anyways, he told me yesterday when I spoke with him that I think kind of notes on this what I sent out this morning was if we don't get moving by the second week of December, Toro told them that they're only going to allow them to spend so many, whatever it is, millions of dollars on equipment per company. And if you don't kind of get the order in, then there's a chance that we won't get anything in 22. It wouldn't be till 2023. And so he revises, as you see in the quote that was sent today, that for the co-stars for the state, they're allowing us, because as of yesterday, he told me that they would not be able to hold that number. If we didn't get the equipment until June could have been like a 6%, 7% increase. And then he sent me this morning that shows that it's locked in with the state pricing, as long as we do it by, as you see, December 3rd of this 21.
So did I hear you correctly that some of this, like the Real Master, we can't get till 23?
On that original quote, the 5110H that we were supposed to get on that original quote, that's not available until 23. And this is the best model that's comparable to it, which is just a few dollars less. Still a very good quality mower. It's just not a hybrid mower. And he said everything else that we had in the quote will be available for 22 as long as we kind of move forward with it before probably the second week of December.
So the quote that you gave us today has a Real Master 5410-D.
That's it. Yep.
So we are getting the D,
That's the next step down from what he wanted.
but it's not the hybrid.
It's not the hybrid, right?
Yeah, it's just not the hybrid version, which I mean, personally, I don't have a problem with it because the hybrids only been out for maybe a year or two, and I don't know if they're having issues with them. This here, basically, it's all hydraulics like we've always used forever in the business. The H just stood for hybrid, where the real units that mowed the grass was running on electric power.
The other question I have for you, the payment schedule, it's an annual payment. Do you know when that's paid? Is that paid after delivery or prior to?
The way he made it sound to me was there wouldn't be no payments at all until the pieces were delivered.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, I have a quick question for you. From the quote that we had from the 25th of October, I scribbled out the Toro Workman GTX, which is the first thing listed on the new quote. Was that kind of a, like a maybe you needed that, maybe you didn't, or is that something that you didn't need? That first line item there.
When we was looking at it, I think last meeting when we was trying to break it out over maybe possibly priority over 3 years, that wouldn't have been on that wasn't on year one. Year one was going to be the Toro Real Master, and the Ventrac was going to be the year one. The Toro Workman GTX would have, if we was looking at it over 3 years, that would have probably been more so into the third year.
Because I had circled the Real Master 5010H, which, I understand we'd have to go with the D. The
Yeah.
Pro Pass 200 and then the Workman HDX were like the three things I had on here, but I think the Ventrac, which is the last thing listed, wasn't on the original quote. So if I look at this, is there a priority for the 5 things listed here? And then the only other thing is it 2 Toro Workmans each at $22,611.85? Or
No,
is it
that's the
they're
total.
each 22?
That's the total price for the two of the they're more of a utility, the utility Workman cart, the GTXs,
Okay.
and the Toro Workman HDX. That's another utility vehicle, but it's a little more beefier for doing a little heavier work, and that machine's needed for the Toro Pro Pass 200 because you take the bed off the HDX Workman and you put the Pro Pass on top of it, and that's how we operate that machine.
So the second and third are a package deal. You wouldn't get one without the other necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, the Pro Pass 200 and the Workman HDX, they kind of go together as a
Yeah.
package. Yeah, those two to go together. The Ventrac in the way it's priced out there, those are that kind of goes together because it has the contour mower attachment and the real mower attachment. So that was kind of a package deal for that Ventrac.
So at last meeting, we presented to the board a budget for maintenance equipment at roughly 120, 127,000.
27, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following year, we had another 60 or something that we're thinking about, like pushed in there. So
90, I think.
So you're at 180 already in 2 years. And we can purchase all of these now, guaranteed to get them for 201,000.
192,662.
Well, yeah, but with the interest to finance it, it'll be like 201,000. So in my opinion, not that we may not see the end in the ability to get equipment or even get used parts to fix the current equipment. I think that we should just look at either the 3-year or 4-year, because it still puts us under budget for what we got approved for this year and next year combined, and spreads it out.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a discussion we actually had in the last meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
How it's going to get amortized anyway, so.
yeah, I mean, and if we're getting in now, you know, I mean, we have it's a reasonable interest rate. We've already lost one of the mowers that we wanted, so who knows when the next, you know, what more is not going to get there. But I think, I mean, I just think that we need to order them because we're going to be in that same boat if our older equipment, you know, goes down. To be able to replace it quickly is not going to happen, and parts may not be available either.
Yeah, he told me that it was 6-7 months now. And again, it's not, this isn't saying for everything because they're not real sure. But he said some things might be as far out as 8 months, which hate to see it that long. And I hope it's not that long, but.
So
Yeah.
even on this equipment, if we place this order, call it December 3rd, we might not get all of the equipment for 8 months. Is that what you're saying?
That's kind of what he told me. Yes. He kept saying between 6 and 7 and 6 and 8 months. But he didn't have, he was just given that broad worst case scenario spectrum. But he said some things might be available, like just for instance, maybe that Workman GTX, they might be available in 2 months, 4 months. He doesn't know that exactly. And, but everything's probably not going to come in on that same truck type of thing. We might get some pieces and not others, but he didn't know how to timeline it.
So when would they expect payment from us if we have such long delivery times?
I Yeah, I kind of asked him, and like he said, when the pieces first start coming in, I probably didn't get an exact answer from him. I don't know if about the annual payments, about the 3-year payments. I don't know if once you start getting the pieces in, you have to start paying, or it's until all the pieces come in before that annual payment, the first annual payment would be due. I could find out tomorrow, though. I think I'm trying to remember a conversation, because this was about a week ago. We had this one, and I think that he kind of said that don't really think payment was due completely until all all your equipment and or they broke it out by what you was getting individually.
Yeah. I mean, my vote would be to order everything on this list and go it to 3 years. I think it puts us under budget for what we have budgeted already, and well, budgeted and approved plus expected next year.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee that we can get it, even coming up. So
That's what all I know is what they keep telling me. That's kind of where I am with that answer is.
well, you're seeing it, you're seeing it in every industry. So
Yeah. He just does, they don't know. And he said Toro actually came to them directly, and they had a big meeting with some of the higher ups of Toro. And this was the guideline that they told him that you need to follow. So.
Well, at least they're
Make it-
guaranteeing the price. So.
Yeah.
if we order it now, right?
Right,
If we
The,
go past December 3rd, we no longer
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
right. The
Yeah.
board has it scheduled for action, the budget on December 1st. So we should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think you lock in now with the rates and the pricing, because it's not going to go down. It's not going to get better.
And I think we have a little runway here to just verify what the payment terms are. I'd be a little uncomfortable seeing 60 some grand go out the door and not have anything in hand for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, is that's something that you can work on between now and the December 1st Board of Supervisors meeting to get terms on a 3-year deal for everything?
We just need to know when the payment's due, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm about 90% certain that he said the payment wouldn't be due until all equipment was on landing.
Would it be a bad idea to get the terms from Toro for the 3 years and actually have it in hand at that board meeting? So
Yeah.
they can,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do
Fill
that
it
tomorrow.
out to him. Yeah, just get some confirmation, some framework of what he expects.
is everybody else kind of in agreement with?
I'm completely agree with that, yeah.
And we're favoring
direction.
3-year term?
I mean, I think so, because it's even, it saves it's the least amount of money, and it's still within reasonable budget, so.
All I said to him was I wasn't sure what the Recreation Authority or the Board of Supervisors was going to do. And I said, I didn't know if they was going to pay upfront, like I'm just saying, the 6,000-7,000 before we even got anything. I didn't know that. And he said that basically we can do however we feel would be the best situation to pay the payments. Again, I can't really see paying any money until we have it in the shop, but that's completely up to you guys.
Yeah,
For
and
the-
I see that the warranties are based not on time, but on hours of operation. Is that correct? Well, it's 2 years or 1,500 hours of operation.
Yeah. Most of them gonna be, they're all gonna be 2 years, 1,500 hours. Yeah.
So the 2 years would start on the date of delivery?
Now that's on the date of delivery, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the 3-year period is fine, money wise. Joe, the only question I'd have for you is if some of this stuff is delayed 8 months, which puts you, I don't know, in July or August, is your current fleet going to get you through the, May, June, July months? Or do we have to look at a plan B short term?
I'm probably going to have to put a little bit of money up. I don't know how to say it a little bit, but some money into the pieces. The fairway mower, which is the main piece, I'm gonna try to limp that along as much as possible, because I can't do anything to the reels on it. That was one of the parts that why I needed to basically get a new mower, because the hydraulic lines were starting to fail, and all that machine actually has seven reel units on it, which this will only have 5. And they all need basically to be rebuilt to make another complete year in re-bearings, which is going to be very expensive. We was probably looking at just for that, probably up to $30,000 for all that to be repaired on a 2010 piece of equipment, which was why I was kind of pushing for the new Reel Master. And the other equipment, I could probably get another. I mean, everything's been good up to this point. I don't think anything's, again, it's not going to last another year. Definitely not moving forward. Even with the Ventrac, with getting that the reel mower attachment, that's actually going to utilize basically 2 pieces of equipment in one. So we'll be able to actually have what we call a trim mower and the reel mower attachment also, which we can do the intermediate and the bell out cuts with on the golf course.
Okay. Yeah, I guess my only concern would be is if we allocated the 67 this year as part of the maintenance budget, and then the next 2 years, and then if we have a large expense in, let's say, May or June for some of the existing equipment just to get it, until we get the other stuff, which at this point seems like it's kind of up in the air, like a lot of other things.
But Ryan,
that's the only.
I think that no matter what, in this situation, no matter what happens, we're just going to hope that we can limp it. And if not, it's an expense.
Basically almost same as the golf carts. It's just, we don't know for sure. I mean, I don't see any huge expenses. I mean, unless a motor would fail or hydraulic pumps would fail, that would be the most expensive parts. But if we need to replace bed knives and such like that, that's kind of inexpensive. That's not very expensive to do that. But I can't see anything because we keep up on our PMs. It's something that we do all through the year. Dawn and I, and even Ricky, we work hard on making sure that we got all the preventative maintenance done on the equipment to get us through the year, and which we knew was going into 22 we was going to have to, because we didn't know what was going to happen with the equipment, so we was already being proactive in making sure that everything was going to be ready to go, even looking already into 22, kind of leaving out of 21 and moving forward.
Yeah, then we just need to hope that Reel Master is one of the first ones off the truck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what we need to hope for.
Yeah, that's the biggest expensive one. I don't know what John paid for that years ago, but that is a very expensive machine. If you was actually buy the seven reel unit today, he quoted me a price. It was going to be just for that one unit was going to be almost $103,000 for just one fairway mower. So I don't know what John paid for the one he had in 2010, but that's the big boy.
Do we need 2 of them?
Oh, no. That's on my big wish list.
But I mean, it's a 2010. I don't know how many hours are on it. If we put 30,000 into it, or have to put 30,000 into it.
Oh, no. I checked the reels and stuff the other day and the bed knives on it. And basically the motors are, I don't want to call them bulletproof because I'll jinx myself and I'm knocking on wood here. But the reels themselves was the biggest expense between that and the hydraulic hoses. And yeah, I'm not saying we won't have a hydraulic hose leak before we get to June or July. I mean, I hope not, but.
And that's worst case scenario to get to
That's
that.
worst case scenario, yeah. But the reels themselves, I think we can probably get enough out of them just by looking at what they call like the layoff on the reels and the way the bed knives are. That 'cause I had them redone last year, and only redone meaning that they couldn't even grind them last year. All they did was put new bed knobs on them and just touched them up, and that made it through this year. And they told me that that's all you're going to get out of them. If you don't get something new, then we're gonna have to rebuild them all. So.
But
That's
again,
right.
if you got a piece of equipment that's now over $100,000, if we put in 30 or 40,000 to it, it's still cheaper than buying a second Real Master. Right?
No, the one we're getting is only 73, and I'm not going to put 30 in. I'm not putting 30 into the one we have now. So basically, all we're looking at is buying, the new unit, the new Real Master, 73,000.
I'm saying buy that one, but also keep the one we have and put some money into it. And so we have two.
Well, yeah, I didn't plan on getting rid of it because Toro told me they would probably only give me like, I think at most, he just threw a number out there like $1,500 for it, which the machine and weight's worth more than that, and the motor. So yeah, if we can kind of still limp it along as a secondary machine without even putting money into it, I think that'll still benefit us. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't want to put, if I don't, maybe a few dollars into it, but definitely not $30,000 into it. That would kind of defeat the whole purpose here.
Doug or Steve, you on board with at least getting terms on this 3-year for everything and presenting that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sounds, and that Pro Pass that we keep talking about, that's going to be basically an enhancement machine, which is going to help in 2 parts. It's going to help with the bulk top dressing that we do with the tee boxes, approaches, and mainly the greens. And the greens more so it's a machine that we can adjust the sand pattern where we can put it down very lightly, which throughout the season we can top dress the greens, which will just basically at the end of the day, it's going to make a lot better putting surface, a smoother putting surface overall. It's going to help the porosity of the green itself by I've done it in the past in different courses that I've been at, and it's a really good piece of equipment when you're trying to achieve your thatch layers and stuff like on your putting greens.
Cindy, do we need a motion for that, or?
I think it would be a motion to recommend buying the package deal at the quoted price based on a 3-year annual payment.
I will make that motion.
Here a second. I'll second it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And the golfers will too, in the end.
So now it's on you, Joe. Get those terms from Toro and get them back
Yeah.
over to Cindy so that we can get them in front of the board. And
I will talk to him first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll get everything panned out of how the payments are and when they're going to start, and I'll get them to Cindy immediately.
thank you.
Hey, Joe, I have a quick question for you.
Uh-huh.
I had spoken with the greenkeeper over at Conestoga. This was probably last summer, but they had talked about how he got some like large piece of equipment from, I want to say it was Penn State or like somebody in the golf course management that they didn't have to pay for. They got to either loan it or rent it, or like it was just given to them for a short period of time to do something to the greens. Are you aware, I'm sure, you guys all like, have the same contacts, but is that something that was just made available at the time, or is that something that's always kind of open to everybody?
Years ago, if you was really good friends with the vendor, kind of, I could say it that way, we used to be able to get extended loans, and what he's probably speaking of, if it was a top dresser or maybe even an air fryer, that he would have called his vendor and say, hey, can I get an extended loan on this 648 air fryer? And they had to give it to him for 2 or 3 days, and he'd have been able to punch out his greens, or if it was a top dresser, he'd have been able to top dress his greens. I've actually done it in the past years ago, not at Four Seasons, when everything was just a little more normal. I used to actually rent rollers and smooth rollers. After air vacation, I would use them on an extended loan. No payment at all, by no means, and then I would use it for a week and a half, and they'd come pick it back up with no questions asked. So, but now that we're in this kind of situation, I actually talked to my vendor. It was about using a top dresser for just the fall air vacation that we just done, and basically he, like normal, he didn't have anything available. But yeah,
Okay.
we've definitely done that in the past.
Okay. Yeah, it's just pretty busy
Even with-
now. So
Even with cedars, people used to go through certain companies and get a cedar on demo, and they would like seed like half their fairways or so, and then return the cedar. It was, yeah. I guess everybody's turned a blind eye to some of that, but or people caught on to it.
yeah. Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Mm-hmm.
I just have one comment based upon my experience with municipal procurement and co-stars. It is not all that unusual for the seller to come up with some reasonable down payment when you're talking about equipment deliveries, as long as it is. So don't be shocked if they came back and they want to have a nominal down payment. I wouldn't suggest it, obviously, but let's see what they say. It typically that the down payment would be anywhere from what I've seen with municipal equipment, anywhere from 10 to maybe 20% of the purchase price. So.
When I asked him, again, it was probably a week and a half ago, when I asked Craig, he asked me what his name is, he said that payment wouldn't be due until delivery. That's basically what he told me. Now, again, I don't know if 2 pieces come and it all don't come for 8 months. I don't know. That's the question I need to ask more. How does that work? If you get 2 of the pieces in 4 months from now, and you don't get the rest till 6 to 8 months from now, how does the payment breakout fall? I mean, he might tell me that it might not be, might not pay anything until 8 months. I'm not sure, but I will find out tomorrow morning.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, our max exposure is 67,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave's saying also, I mean, I do understand a reasonable down payment if it's necessary, but I didn't see anything to date that suggested we needed to do that. But I also wanted to tie payment to, so if you have a 3-year payment plan,
Mhm.
really shouldn't start until you have to, everything shouldn't start. The warranty and the period of the payment period should start when you have taken delivery of all the equipment.
I agree.
So if the down payment, I assume, if there was one that was required, would be refundable. If they don't perform.
Well, typically also, if the equipment is delivered in a different schedule, as soon as you take beneficial use for it, that's when the warranty starts. So
Right.
it could be that you'd have a couple out of warranty a couple months earlier. The other thing too is if you're gonna, municipalities, when they purchase your co-stars, you may comment on this, Cindy. A lot of times when you issue the order, you accept the proposal, and if you have a purchase order, which you're gonna give to the seller, you can attach your own terms to it. And the terms would be, net whatever on delivery. So again, that's something that typically the seller has some say in. But it would be good, obviously, if the buyer comes up with a formal proposal that clearly says the terms are, nothing down, and then upon delivery, you get paid within net 30 and, 1% less in net 10.
So is there a separate, the issuance of a purchase order plus we would sign some type of financing agreement with the seller?
I don't know, Mark. I can't answer that.
Joe, do you know how that works? Do we typically,
No, I'm not sure. I mean, because the equipment when we bought the greens mowers, 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure the township bought them outright. So on payment plan wise, I'm not sure how how that works. Like I said, he never said a word to me about any kind of having to put like a down payment down. I can remember him saying that it wouldn't be payment when we do. I think that's why even on the price quote on the side here, it says prices on this quote is locked in and will be priced, invoiced as delivered or as at delivery. So.
We'll get it worked out and get the details straightened out.
Yeah.
And I agree though, Dave, if we don't like all the terms that they come back with, we suggest some of our own.
I think we're good. Anybody have any further comments on that matter? New business. Does anybody have any new business they'd like to speak about tonight? I don't know if we want to add this to new business, but I think, we talked about goals and objectives for the golf course. And those seem to be more on the development side, but I don't know, Jim, I don't know if there's other things we should be doing programmatically with the golf course, other things we could be doing that could create revenue outside of the real estate opportunities. Is there anything you can suggest in that area? Now, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but it might be something we would probably want to visit after the first of the year. I would think to have further discussions about other programs to drive revenue for the golf course.
Mike, I forgot. I had reached out just in discussion with the authority board last meeting about simulators. So I had reached out to LCC as far as what they did. They have 3 simulators over there, and just asked the company and the diligence that they went through while shopping for those. Got the information from the GM over there, and I sent that over to Dan. So as far as new business, I think if we wanted to explore that as something that we at the golf course did, as opposed to getting a third party to run that, we at least have a contact to just kind of kick the tires as far as what would a simulator cost, what would the construction build for an area to do that cost. And then, what's the potential revenue that we could see, coming back our way to potentially make up for the initial cost of that. So, Dan, I don't know if you got any information back from the contact, but I think that's something that, we could work on or put towards one of the committees as far as an action item for ongoing meetings.
Yeah, I actually didn't have a chance to reach out to them yet. I did dig through my files to see if there was any exact costs for those simulators, and I could not find a true breakdown for them. So, in all the notes that I had, but I will reach out to them and kick that around for.
So can we just add as for discussion for new business, the researching simulators for the golf course?
Yeah, and I think that would probably be a term goal just as we enter the winter months. If it takes us several months to do that, we might be back into the regular season by then. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think simulators are something we'll get in for this winter season, but I think
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I think we'll have a good idea though, is once we get into let's say July of next year, see where all of our budgeting and stuff comes in at. We have another good year, the restaurant does well, maybe make some contingencies on that too, and have a little bit extra cash flow to invest.
Any other new business?
Jim, I wanted to get back from what Mike was saying there. Maybe if you want to think about other items maybe for, I don't know if we have a December meeting or not,
That's up for discussion. I don't know if we need to have a December meeting.
but for sure for January, if there's anything that you can think of internally, pro shop, facilities, whatever that, that may help you guys in there. We certainly would like to be able to consider that.
Yeah, it sounds good.
So we can save that discussion for January. That'd be great. Thank you, Jim. Like to get the minutes of the previous meeting approved. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 27th meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Great. All those in favor accepting last October's last, the meeting of October 27th, say aye.
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 I have to abstain.
Minutes are approved. We don't have any public in the room at all. There's nobody else online, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. No need for an executive session this evening, I don't believe.
Correct. There is a question about the need for a December meeting. I don't know what the wishes of the authority are. Action on the 22nd, we'll go back to a Wednesday.
I think probably, I don't know that there'd be much,
Probably not.
probably not much to talk about at that next meeting, and very little's gonna come between now and Christmas anyway, so.
Right.
If I could just make a motion to cancel December's meeting and have the third Wednesday meeting still occur for January. Those in favor of that say aye.
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 You just need a second if you could.
Oh, second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Cindy, there's something in the chat. What is that from?
That was Steve for the minutes.
Okay.
Right.
I had to abstain.
Abstained.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for the evening.
I'll make the motion.
I hear a second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy
Thanks, Mike.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Thank you.